Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. So you are looking at the upcoming Primal Lord Sound Thresher, and he is an absolute unit. He is the biggest Primal Lord I have ever seen in AFK journey. Now he has a very interesting skill kit and mechanics. However, the top team is not even that pay to win. It does have Baelran in it, and I'm going to show you guys a replay of one of the top scorers posted today from Ina, basically almost maxed out account. The team formation will be on the left so you guys can take a look at it, but Baelran is dominating in this Primal Lord, along with actually Maulers and the Mauler Phantom, which is something maybe you wouldn't have predicted. So the boss basically has, first of all, he has the most important mechanic is he will take your allies and levitate them in there. Look at that. So these allies who remain on these tiles in the back, basically these are the vine entangled tiles, and if they remain there for 5 seconds or more, they're teleported and they will remain up here in the air up until you defeat a drain seed. So after the drain seed just spawned, right? So after we defeat the drain seed, now the enemies are going to drop back down, or at least the enemies which were in this initial, basically the center area, because yeah, and as you defeat more drain seeds, everyone is going to be released eventually. But you also see that the boss will periodically knock back your allies, like with his sneeze attack. Now I think we're gonna get a drop down. Maybe is Smokey? No, okay, that's a clone of Gala is giving to Smokey. But after we kill another drain seed, another one of these entangled vines on the back is going to, this row is going to basically disappear, and then these allies are going to drop down as well. What is, I don't understand how the Smokey is still doing well in this comp. It could just be because he's providing his charm quality bonus onto Baelran, but also he does manage to get, I believe, his blue aura off right at the end of the fight, and that will be some additional damage because it is a pretty it ends up being a pretty good amount when you approach endless bosses. And then he's going to provide that attack and haste buff while he's around right here for these in the final basically 30 to 40 seconds. But while he's up in the air, I think he's not providing his attack or haste buff. But like, the thing is, someone has to be, well, someone doesn't have to be in the air, but there's basically no other better unit for right now. And Galahad is down here dealing her damage, Baelran is dealing his damage, and Mikola also doing really well. So the Dread Seed comes down, you're gonna break it. After you break the Dread Seed, it weakens the boss's skills, and it also slightly stacks your own attack power. So there you go, you have the perfect timing of the blue aura right towards the end of the fight. And by the way, the credit for this team goes to Laman. Potentially there could be more teams that come out in the future, but really if you're talking about a Baelran comp, increasing his melee damage with the Smoky Charms, and also the Alpha Bear Phantom increases the ally in front of him by 25%. Melee damage increases it by that if he has level 80 or level 90 skill upgrade. So you're gonna see here, Smokey, it doesn't look like he deals much damage, but like this is right towards the end of the boss's life, right when he's kind of like he's stacking a lot of damage reduction, and Smokey's just gonna cut through him with this raw HP loss damage of 18 billion, and so that is actually better than you would think. And as time goes on, as we get to an even higher level, this HP loss damage will be even more significant and even more essential, because yeah, the higher level you are, the more deeper into endless you go, and that is when these HP loss damage dealers really come online. So that is overall the top team. Star Shower spell, I think no one is like basically surprised by that. Galahad has great synergy with the Star Shower artifact by doubling, basically prolonging the duration of it and boosting the effect of it. Baelran is just good because he's unaffected, so he's not at all affected by any of the crowd control of this Primal Lord. And then he also just deals really good melee damage. Smokey is giving him melee damage boost from its charms, as you guys see here, 20% melee damage boost, and then the Alpha Bear Phantom is giving him another 25% melee damage boost, and even increasing his health. That's going to increase his overall damage because his damage scales on his health, right? And recovery of health as well to allow him to ascend for faster. Of course, twins have to be used. Twins are always used. And the interesting thing is the twins, only one of them is teleported, because the heroes which go into the front line, they're basically immune to these effects of these of basically being pulled up. It's only the backline heroes which can be pulled up. Yeah, so what I want to do now is I want to show you an alternative team an alternative free-to-play team which was shared by Half Moon. Now, it isn't going to be as good as this Baelran team, there's no question about it. However, it shows you that there probably are going to be some decent, more budget options and even non-Baelran options. So this is using Celise, Velka, you have Blue Twin on the right, Pink Twin on the left, and this was a team from Half Moon. Now, my viewer is behind on levels, of course, a bit compared to the Enav's replay that we saw, and also not maxed out Phantom, but I still think we can get a pretty good test right here of the performance of this, and you guys can again see the skills, like the actual mechanics of this boss. So you see on the back, look at this. These are the 3 lines of basically these entangling vines. Anyone who remains here, like Ravion, Blue Mother, and even the Blue Twin, they're going to be teleported up. But the Pink Twin remains, right? But I think even if the Pink Twin remains, I don't know if they're allowed to cast their ultimate if both of them are not present, because I think Elijah, which is the Blue Twin, is actually the hero responsible for casting the ultimate. So you're going to see here that basically the twins cannot cast an ultimate until they drop down, but you just defeat a Drain Seed and now everyone's down. They're going to be down for the rest of the match. So if you position everyone right up front in that frontmost row like was positioned here, they're going to come back down very quickly. In only one Drain Seed defeat, which happens around, 25 seconds into the match. And so that is a good thing. The thing is, for the Mauler team that we showed you, it wasn't possible, because if you wanted to have them positioned in that way and Smokey behind Baelran and things, you had to have him back far enough so that he was delayed. But actually delaying him is, again, like we mentioned, it's actually maybe a blessing in disguise, because it allows his blue aura to come right at the end where this gets the most value for it, raw HP loss damage. Yeah, so if you guys have remembered from past seasons, delaying Smokey ultimate gets a lot of value. So they're going to be teleported up again because they were still standing within basically these entangling vines in the back. So it looks like it's going to be hard to avoid that. And until you destroy the Drain Seed, these heroes will permanently remain up here and not actually do anything. But Ravion being up there isn't that much of a problem, because he already provides his attack buff at least to your other allies, boosting their damage. And your main damage is Faramor and Velka, and your melee heroes, they're immune. They're not going to be able to be brought up, teleported up, which is good. And but at the same time, they can be knocked back by the sneeze attack of the boss. We're going to go through his entire skills, but basically just by watching these 2 replays, you get a clear idea of basically what is going on, and then it will make more sense when we read the skills. So if you look at this here, we won't even really get a new record, because my viewer's previous record was with the Baelran team. It wasn't even with the overall top performing Baelran team, this new team that was come up with. But yeah, so this one, 202 billion damage, that is a good performance. So recapping the skills of the Sound Thresher, his ultimate ability is going to be, it attacks enemies multiple times, which is not that interesting. More importantly, it flings a poisonous egg on the battlefield. The egg has HP equal to a percentage of Sound Thresher's attack, and it will last up to 8 seconds. While the egg is there, enemies cannot attack Sound Thresher, they have to attack the egg. If the egg survives for 8 seconds, it explodes and deals high damage, but if the egg is destroyed before expiration, the Sound Thresher becomes purified, and this purification of him is actually good for you. It increases your own allies' attack by 3%, and it can stack up to 3 times, so up to 9% attack of your own allies, which is minor, but I guess it makes somewhat of a difference. Then you have a Thrashing Vine. So the Sound Thresher targets the 5 most crowded lines of enemies, and it deals damage to all enemies hit, and whenever an enemy destroys one of its Dread Seeds, the number of vines is reduced by 1. So basically that is how you weaken some of his skills when you destroy the Dread Seeds. Then you have Violent Rejection. The Sound Thresher reacts violently to the infection, unleashing a powerful sneeze forward that deals 200% damage to all enemies and knocks them back to the battlefield's edges. So that was a knockback that you guys are seeing, but heroes like Baelran are unaffected, or even Twin Stellar Bond and stuff, those heroes will become unaffected and gonna get their value off. And then you have Vine Shroud. This is the final skill, and this is the most important. The Sound Thresher spawns vines in the back line. Creates an area of corrosive vines that covers 3 tiles in the back line of the enemy's half of the battlefield. And that's what you guys saw. Basically, the back 3 rows are all going to be affected by this corrosive vines, and if an enemy remains within the area for more than 5 seconds, the vines grab and restrain them until the battle ends. And the only way to remove this is whenever an enemy destroys one of the Sound Thresher's Dread Seeds, which is basically the egg, poisonous egg, I think. The corrosive vines retreat by 1 tile and release any enemy currently suspended over that tile. If all enemy heroes are grabbed by the Sound Thresher, the battle will end immediately. Yeah, so obviously you can't have them all be grabbed, but even if you have one melee hero, or basically a hero which remains in the front line, they are not it's not possible that he will be able to grab them all up into the air. And so when you just go ahead and take a look again at the replay, you can really see it clearly in 2x speed. So you have these 3 rows of backline, and now these Blue Mother, Ravion, and Twins are all going to be pulled up. And until we destroy the Dread Seed, which spawns around 25 seconds, these Corrosive Vines are going to retreat by 1. There you go. So 1 tile, it has retreated, and so now there is a safe zone right here, as you guys see. But Ravion, if he gets pushed back into the danger zone, he is still going to be pulled back up, and that's basically what happens, because you know Ravion, he loves to jump around, and then he jump back. Celise, I didn't even know, I wasn't even paying attention to where Celise was, but it looks like she was also there. So now what will happen is we're going to destroy another Dread Seed. Celise is going to go down, but Ravion was right in the back. So he's not going to go down right until the final, basically, row is actually removed, which will be the final Dread Seed defeat. But anyway, guys, hopefully this is helpful, giving you a good look and basically preview into the Sound Thresher. Very interesting Primal Lord. Baelran does seem to be the overall top performer. As of right now, Gunner is not on top because it is that melee Mauler Baelran team which is dominating right now. And so unless something else is found out, it's probably going to be that melee meta, because this boss is a melee oriented boss. And I think it would be really interesting if we would have him for Dream Realm in the upcoming season, because that would make Baelran again a bit more meta and a bit more relevant, because he's one of the best melee HP loss damage dealers. And so having a boss which is basically punishing you for being ranged is going to be beneficial to an extent to Baelran. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts about this guy in the comment section down below. And thank you guys all so much for watching. And if you think about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video in a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.